Once again, your
console
is not going unappreciated.
Heading to the winner's circle is Pyomai. Pyomai is owned by Inez Munoz and trained by Lois Petit.
Help! Help! Guys, it's too much salt! I'm stuck, please! Get me out of here!
is beautiful.
Thank God for drug addicts, that's much better. I can't believe for once you guys saved my life. Had my head been left in that pile of salt a minute longer, I may have overdosed. So I'm questioning, how the hell are you guys still alive? Oh, was that? You want me to repay you for saving my life already? It's literally just been a few seconds. Okay, look, luckily for you, that enormous pile of salt you just snorted is just a fraction of the salt that was produced today. There's so goddamn much of it, I decided to condense it down into one of the most potent extracts you're ever going to smoke in your entire life.
This will get us high for hours. I know.
So, per usual, I woke up with one of the worst hangovers ever, which I somehow quickly forgot about once I saw ponies was trending on Twitter. And, well, usually when things like this happen, it's because PlayStation fanboys send unsolicited dick pics or are actively threatening to bomb Sony headquarters. But much to my surprise, this time around it was because all of Twitter was making fun of PlayStation fanboys for the bullshit news that they received today. Sony is increasing the price of the PS5 in select markets due to the global economic environment.
What? Profits down $3 from last month? I gotta start running a tighter ship around here!
The global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We're seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. Based on these challenging economic conditions, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price of PlayStation 5 in select markets across Europe, Middle East and Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, as well as Canada. There will be no price increase in the United States.
Fuck yeah! What you gonna do when we come for you?
Holy shit! Jim Ryan must have looked at the price people were paying scalpers and thought to himself, why am I not charging more? After all, our fanbase does host 10-hour-long Twitter spaces where they boast how happy they are to pay Sony more money because Sony's the king. They got quality games and their prices should match that quality. Hell, we paid $1,000 for a PS5 on eBay. You have no idea how difficult of a decision this was for Jim Ryan. It was either make more money or don't. You have no idea how hard it is to live with that type of pressure on your back. But what's he supposed to do? Not get another private Coke Island? While this price increase is a necessity given the current global economic environment and its impact on Sony Interactive Entertainment's business, our top priority continues to be improving the PS5 supply situation so that as many players as possible can experience everything that PS5 offers and what's still to come. Thank you for your continued support.
For this, I would like to say, thank you for the monies. You can't have it back. I like it. It's nice. It's my monies now. High five!
Exactly how is charging $50 more for a PS5 going to guarantee your consumers get more in stock? The supply situation is a completely different problem, but per usual, this is the type of PR talk Jim Ryan does, and PlayStation fanboys will believe it like it's goddamn gospel. None of this seems to make sense considering the PlayStation 5 has been turning over a profit for well over a year now. And on top of that, even with the supply issues, they still have a lead over the Xbox. It also doesn't seem to make any sense considering Microsoft has not put the cost of having to produce more consoles on their consumers. They paid for priority on those chips, but they didn't raise the price of their consoles. And they've also publicly stated that there is no plans for a price hike on the Xbox. So I ask you exactly, how is the market leader incapable of covering the costs of producing more consoles with their own goddamn money? And to put that cost on the consumers globally, other than the United States, the country where PlayStation competes the hardest against Xbox, I'm just having trouble wrapping my mind around this. Hardware that's been out for 2 years now is getting a price hike and not a price drop. And it's a goddamn console we're talking about here. It's not a more powerful version of the PS5. It won't have a better GPU or CPU or more RAM. It won't play your games any better, yet it's going to cost you $50 more than it did 2 years ago. So how in the world can anybody justify this? Oh, but you don't understand. Sony is hurting and it's up to me to help them. So yeah, I'll fork over another $50. I shit you not, those are the arguments you are about to hear.
Imagine if gamers expressed a similar level of outrage for not having any AAA console exclusives to play in 2022 versus a minor price hike due to materials inflation.
That's it, mister. You just lost your brain privileges.
You know what? No, I'm actually imagining a world where you're not retarded. How in the world are you comparing having AAA console exclusives to paying $50 more for 2-year-old hardware?
Your boots, sir.
$50 is a minor price hike. Oh yeah, $50 more than what everybody else paid is insignificant. That's nearly the full price of a brand new game. You get to pay $50 more for a PS5 that doesn't come bundled with a goddamn video game. In a moment where Sony needs the harshest criticism from its own consumer base, they instead decide to turn around and make it all about Xbox. Do you really believe waiting for video games should have the same level of outrage as being charged more for old hardware? No, obviously you don't believe that. This is just a defense mechanism ponies have. For some reason, criticism of PlayStation is taken as criticism towards themselves. Anti-consumer practices from Sony obviously means we have to start criticizing Microsoft now. Duh! Usually when you're damage controlling, you don't want to be this obvious about it. And you're a goddamn journalist. Your job is to report the console wars, not participate in it. I would tell you to shut your mouth, but obviously Jim Ryan's cock needs to go somewhere.
So everything, and I mean everything, has gone up since price due to inflation. But the minute PS5 consoles do, there's outrage. Most of y'all don't even live in said countries with the increase. Y'all just want to have fake outrage. Why aren't y'all holding spaces about rent going up?
He calls himself the Salt King?
You take off that crown. I'm kicking your ass.
The only goddamn thing he's the king of is Asperger's. Clearly not everything has gone up in price with inflation. Cause I ain't seen a price hike for the Xbox, are you? A Costco hot dog and soda is still $1.50. Arizona iced tea is still $1. So why is the PlayStation 5 the only goddamn thing here being adjusted for inflation? And yes, you do have a point, Saltiest Gaming. This isn't happening in America. It's just happening to the rest of the world. So I don't even know why you're saying most of y'all don't even live in those countries. The majority of the world lives in those countries. It is far more difficult to pretend not to be outraged by this than it is to pretend to be outraged. God only knows how much of his own dignity Saltiest Gaming had to throw away just to make this tweet.
PlayStation making big moves. They're finally charging more for Xbox because it's worth more. I love the quote-unquote aggression. They have positioned themselves as the kings of gaming, and now they are charging a premium worth every penny.
What do we have here?
Yeah, no, sorry, King. I'm gonna save this video for a stream. With limited time comes limited roasting, and I prefer to take my time with you. Plus, it's a lot funnier when you tune into the streams live, angry as f***. Now, obviously, the weaker PlayStation 5 is worth much more money than the stronger Xbox Series X. It just makes perfect sense. Obviously, the PS5 should be $800 in Australia. It should have been the whole time. It's premium. You won't get anything else like this on the market, except for a mid-range PC and an Xbox Series X, but nonetheless, everyone else is paying less because they have an inferior product. I don't understand. Do PlayStation fanboys want Sony to be the Apple of consoles? Premium prices for the hardware and the software. Yeah, sure, our versions of our games run worse than the PC counterparts, but that extra $10 and that extra $50 you're paying is providing you the premium version of Sony's content. I promise you, it's worth every penny. Less frame rate, less resolution, more expensive, but I swear it's a premium.
People losing their minds over the PS5 price increase, but it's only gone up by £30 in the UK. But somehow, it's okay that GPU prices have been ridiculous for years now due to crypto miners, but when a console gets a slight increase, that's a big no-no?
It was a, what? It was, what? No? When was it ever okay? I don't know a single person who wasn't complaining for years about the cost of GPUs. Nobody was okay with it. And also, what part of this console has been out for 2 years are you not understanding? An uptick of $50 over the course of 2 years is not a slight increase. It's a goddamn scam. Anyone purchasing a PlayStation 5 after this price hike is legit getting scammed. And meanwhile, GPU prices are actually dropping as the PS5's price is increasing. And why are we talking about GPUs? This is about PlayStation. Why are we deflecting again? Why is every criticism of PlayStation gotta be turned against something else? Sony's charging you $10 more for games, $50 more for the console, and come September, they're also increasing the price of PlayStation Plus. What is going on at Sony headquarters? But most importantly, what's going on inside the minds of PlayStation fanboys to make them justify this? I have legit never seen a single consumer of anything ever defend price hikes. Nobody likes them, yet the PlayStation fanboys seem to be the only people in the world that do. For some reason, them having to pay more is a bragging right and not a concern about the state of Sony. What an unbelievable year it's been. Sony could legit commit mass genocide of an entire country, and the first thing PlayStation fanboys will say is, yeah, but I mean, Xbox has no games.
Put console wars aside. Analyze how fuel, transport, and component prices have increased. Where I am, nearly everything has increased in price, especially basic goods. Before people say Jim is being greedy, ask yourself, are consoles exempt from global inflation?
No, OT. If you actually took your own advice and set console wars aside, you wouldn't be making excuses, damage controlling, and defending this. Because let's face it, if Microsoft came out with the news instead of Sony today that they would be increasing the prices of the Xbox, we would be seeing a completely different timeline right now. And let's be real, you're not happy about paying more for any of your utilities, any of your bills, or for any of your luxuries. So why would you advocate for increasing the price of everything else if you already hate it? Oh yeah, you know, life's already expensive enough as it is. Make it more expensive for me, please, Sony. People wait for price drops, not price hikes. Do you know a single person pumping gas into their car right now saying, well, everything else is expensive, so obviously I want my gas to be just as expensive as everything else. I'm gonna sit by this gas pump and wait for the price to go up. You know what, before I go on another tangent, I think I'm gonna end it here. At this point, there's legit nothing Sony could do wrong in the eyes of a PlayStation fanboy. It all has a reason. There's purpose to what Sony does, and I will follow blindly no matter what. Even if it means advocating for everything else in the world to go up in price. That doesn't make me a cuck. That makes me, loyal to PlayStation, yeah. Because unlike you guys, I have empathy for the billion-dollar corporation. Oh my god, I really gotta stop before another pile of salt nearly kills me. And with that being said, you should like, comment, share, subscribe if you so choose to, become a member of this channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Free Congo sucks ass.